Hello and welcome to a new episode of Confessions of a Yarn Addict podcast. My name is Anniken. I'm Norwegian, but I've lived in the UK for over 30 years now. It was 30 years in January. I design knitting patterns and I teach knitting workshops, and in this episode I'm going to show you what's on my needles, show you some new purchases from my trip to London 2 weeks ago, and also share some snippets from things I've been up to in the last couple of weeks. So 2 weeks ago I was in London. I was away for, it's supposed to be a 4-day trip. It ended up being 5 days because there was a really bad storm heading through this country, and it basically all the trains to Cornwall got cancelled from kind of lunchtime onwards on the Sunday. So we ended up staying an extra night in London, which was fine. We didn't really do very much apart from a very quick trip to the V&A because we spent most of the day trying to sort of what was happening with getting home, really. So a little bit of a waste of time, but we did get home safely in the end. I did have the chance to visit 2 yarn shops while I was in London. I was teaching up one of them and I was in their local area to another one, so I popped in to see what they were like because I followed them online and I really liked what I saw online, so I wanted to pop in and see what they were like. So I'll show you in a minute what I bought from there. And then I'm also going to share what's on my needles as well. So let's get cracking. So on one of the days we're in London, we visited Kew Gardens in Richmond. I'd never been to Kew before. I've always wanted to go, and we decided we'd go out there. It's a bit of a trek from central London. It wasn't, I mean, we went on the tube, it wasn't too bad, but it does take, I don't know, half an hour or so, I think, so it's not too bad. But it was well worth the visit. There was an orchid festival on while we were there, so I really enjoyed. I love orchids, they're one of my favourite flowers. So I really enjoyed seeing the orchids. I think the outdoor bits would probably be nicer in the summer, but seeing some of the greenhouses and the hothouses and things like that were really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. We had a great time. We spent the morning at Kew, and then afterwards I got the bus into Richmond and then went to Tribe Yarns. I followed Tribe Yarns online for a little while now after one of my regulars kind of tipped me off. I think it's a local yarn shop. She kind of told me about them, so I found them on Instagram. I've been following them since, I don't know, beginning of last year, I think. So I was really pleased to pop in. It's a really lovely shop. Doesn't look that big when you go in, but they have an upstairs as well. So in the downstairs they had loads of hand-dyed yarns mainly, I think, and then upstairs they had a range of different yarns. So the video clip I'm including in a minute, is from the upstairs. We've also got the most beautiful staircase. So I'll show you a clip in a minute from the upstairs. I didn't take any video downstairs because there were other customers in the shop, so I didn't. But I really enjoyed visiting them. I did go over a couple of purchases. So the first one is a yarn I've seen at a couple of shows now and regretted not buying it. It's a company called Bilum, B-I-L-U-M. I think they're Hungarian. Yeah, they're Hungary. And I actually they do some beautiful rainbow colours, but I got a grey one. I was really tempted by some of the brighter ones. They have some beautiful pastel shades, some beautiful bright shades, rainbow shades, but I ended up getting a grey one, but I'm planning to pair it with some bright colours. I'm not quite sure what yet, probably a bright pink maybe. I'm not quite sure yet, but I do have some plans for this one. I did actually want to cast on for a shawl with this one as soon as I got back from London, but I decided on a different design first. So this one will probably be the next one on the needles after I finish what I cast on. And I also got this skein, which is Socks from Coop Knits. I have 2 skeins of this yarn in a bright pink, like fluorescent pink. So I was thinking maybe I'll use this one and one of the fluorescent pink skeins with this for a shawl. Or maybe I'll use this with the fluorescent pink skeins on their own for another shawl. I am also thinking I really like to knit a sweater with that fluorescent pink and include some of this. So I'm not quite sure what to do with it yet, but I really like this colorway as well, and it's a beautiful yarn, so I decided to get it. It's quite, the socks here is quite affordable. It's only £6. That's for 50 grams, but I still think that's quite reasonable. So yeah, I really like that colorway. But I don't have any specific plans for it yet, but I was really pleased to get my hand on a cake of Bilum. So this is 100% merino wool. It's 500 meters and 100 grams. They also did some bigger 120 grams skeins, which have 600 meters. So I'll put the link to this below. So while I was in London, it was kind of combined work trip, combined mini break. So I was teaching on the Saturday at a beautiful yarn shop in Pimlico called Beautiful Knitters. Really lovely yarn shop, really lovely atmosphere. I had some lovely ladies in my workshop. I was teaching professional finishing techniques, which I really enjoyed, and had a really great day. It's a beautiful yarn shop. They have some fantastic stuff. I'll add some clips later. I actually forgot to take a video of the actual shop, so I'll just add a photo. But I took some video from the workshop, so I'll add that in a minute. But I did make a couple of purchases while I was there, because why not? One of the first things I saw when I walked into the shop was some project bags, and you may or may not know how much I like bags. I especially like project bags. I used to buy quite brightly coloured ones, but lately I've been into more natural coloured project bags. So I saw this one. It's a range of project bags from a company called Mazurca from Portugal. So this is hand printed on linen. I think the lining is cotton, handmade in Portugal, in Lisbon, I believe, which is where I'm going in June. So I'm very excited. So really nice project bag with a leather handle, zip opening. It's got a neutral interior. Really like it. It's lovely, beautiful, very kind of elegant, natural. I have been more into more natural and neutral kind of project bags lately, rather than brightly coloured ones, but this one is one of my favourite at the moment. So my current project is in here. It's nice and small. It's kind of big enough for like a shawl project, really, or like the sleeve of a sweater or another kind of small projects. I really like it. So I got that at Beautiful Knitters, and then I also got a skein of Black Elephant. So it's a little bit showing up a little bit brighter on my screen than it looks in real life, probably because of the artificial lighting. But yeah, I really like it. Beautiful bright pink color with some speckles of, not quite sure, I think they're blue, just a few tiny blue speckles, and a bit of darker red and a bit of kind of orangey color there. Black Elephant is a yarn dye that I've seen in a couple of places now. This is the Moulin Rouge colorway. I've seen Black Elephant in a couple of yarn shops now, and I really like it. So I was quite excited to get a skein. It's a dye I've just come across fairly recently. So it's Black Elephant. It is 100% superwash merino singles. There's a fingering weight yarn, so like a sock weight yarn, and it's colorway is Moulin Rouge. So I'm really excited. Love that colorway, beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Probably combine it with something else for a shawl, I expect, but I haven't got any plans for it right at the moment. But I really like it. So the workshop at Beautiful Knitters was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I will leave you with a few. I'll show you a few clips from my workshop next. So let me show you what's on my needles at the moment. I was teaching, one of the workshops I was teaching this weekend was circular shawls at the Knitting Hotel in Dawlish in Devon. That was a new workshop for me, and I really enjoyed it. And while I was prepping for that workshop, I was thinking how long it was since I knitted a circular shawl. I did design two for my beaded lace knitting book. I can't remember whether there was one in my Easy Lace Knits book. I don't think there was. And then I've done probably one for the Knitter magazine a few years ago. And then I may have done, I think I've done one or two self-published ones. So I haven't done that many circular shawls. I like them, they're fun to knit, but I don't always find them that practical to wear because you have to kind of fold them in half. And then I think, well, I'm doing twice the knitting, you're only seeing half of it, so I might as well just knit half a shawl or a crescent shawl. But because I haven't done them for a while, I was really just last week, I just felt the urge to design a circular shawl. So I actually cast on Friday. I was teaching all day Saturday, so I didn't do a lot of knitting on Saturday. And then on Sunday I was teaching the circular lace shawl workshop, and when I came home I looked at the shawl and I got nearly this far by the end of Saturday. And on Sunday when I got home, I wasn't that happy with what I'd done, so I ripped it out and I cast on again. And this is what I've done since Sunday evening. So I've increased now, so I got 256 stitches at the moment. And I've just started, I've included a couple of lace patterns. So to start with, it's just some yarn over rows, and then there's this slightly bigger double yarn over lace pattern, and here, I don't know whether you can see it, it's like a chevron pattern. So I'm really enjoying it. Every other round is just a plain knit round. It's quick, it's easy, I really enjoy it. Yeah, and you saw little bits of me knitting it earlier. So I'm quite enjoying that. It's a nice easy shawl to knit. I was meeting a friend for lunch today and I took this with me and knitted while we were chatting, so it's kind of a project I can work on while I'm doing other things. And I'm using my new project bag as well. And another project I've been working on quite a lot over the last week is one of my crochet blankets. So I have two crochet blankets on the go. They've been on the needle, on the hook. Oh, I dropped my crochet hook, and I don't want to leave it on the floor in case I forget it and then can't find it later on. So I got two crochet blankets on the go, which have both been on the hook for years. I think I worked out that the other one has been on my in progress for 8 years. This one I can't remember. This one was after that. I know I started it over 4 years ago. So I'd say probably 5 or 6 years maybe. I haven't worked on it probably for the last nearly 4 years. I used to do a lot of I used to use Mana Silk Blend, Mana Silk Uruguay Silk Blend in a lot of my magazine designs, and I also did some designs for using their yarn when it was distributed by Artisanal Yarns. I used to do a lot of designs for them using Mana Silk Blend as well. So I ended up with a lot of just single skeins of Mana Silk Blend, 1 or 2 skeins left over. So I decided to use them because I didn't really have like a sweater quantity in any other colours. So I decided to use it to make a blanket, and it's getting quite big. So I'm just doing a giant granny square. I started with some lime green and purple. Then I did have a variegated pink, a solid pink, purpley pink colour, and then I have a variegated purple and a teal colour. So at the moment, the only colours I got left are these 3 colours. So the teal, the variegated purple and the variegated pink. They're the only colours I have left. I am thinking I might get another of the green ones if I can find it online, because I really like that bright green one. And I only had 1 skein of that, or possibly less than a skein, because there's not that much in it. So at the moment I've got 2 partial skeins of the variegated pink and variegated purple in progress, and I think I've got 1 skein of each left on my shelves. I was just looking up behind me because they're on the shelves up here, but it's right at the top, so I can't see. I was just looking to see if I can see it, but I can't. They're right at the top. They're above that shelf there. I think I got one, so like 1.5 left of each. And then I also got about half left of the teal. So yeah, I don't know how much further I will get on this, but I thought I would just keep going till I run out of yarn and then decide. I wanted to kind of be, I've decided I'll probably just settle for it to be like a sort of nice size to put on my legs when it's a bit chilly, when I'm sitting around knitting in the evening and it's a bit chilly or something. I don't want it to be like a bed size or anything like that. It'd be nice to make one that's like a double bed size, but our double bed is quite big and I think it's just going to cost too much. I don't want to buy loads of more yarn to go with it because I think that's going to be too expensive. So I just want to finish the yarn I've got, maybe get another skein of the lime green. I'm not quite sure, but I've been doing a little bit on this every single day lately. It's quite a nice project. I tend to do sort of end of the evening for half an hour, an hour, just to try and see if I can finish it. My goal is to try and finish it this year. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. So that's all I've got this week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. I will see you hopefully next week as things are calming down a little bit now. Last few weeks have been really crazy with deadlines and travel and workshops and stuff. It's calming down a bit now. Before I go, I will just tell you a couple of things that are coming up. And I should have checked all the dates and I didn't write down a list. So I'll put all the dates below. But I've got some workshops coming up. I've got on Sunday, I think that might be full. I'm teaching Fair knitting and steeking at Truro Wool in Truro in Cornwall. That may be full or nearly full. So if you're interested, contact the shop just in case there has been a cancellation or something. And then next week on, I think it's Wednesday, but I'll put all the details below. I'm teaching easy lace knitting at Spinner Yarn in Bovey, Tracey in Devon. So if you'd like to learn lace knitting, then join me for that workshop. And then on the 15th of March, I will be at the Knitting Corner in Sutton, Coldfield, north of Birmingham. It's easy to reach from Birmingham city centre, I think. I will be there teaching my professional finishing techniques, which is what I taught in London a couple of weeks ago. So if you don't like sewing up, picking up stitches, if you've never heard of short row shoulder shaping, one row buttonholes, we'll be covering all those kind of techniques. And everyone who did that workshop in London absolutely loved it. They were really impressed with the techniques they learned. It's the kind of workshop which, whatever level you're at, you will learn something. Whether you're a beginner or a really experienced knitter, you're probably going to learn something. It's the one workshop that I think every knitter should take, really. So if you want to join me for that, that's in Sutton Coldfield at the Knitting Corner on 15th of March. So I'll put the links to that below. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you in the next episode. Oh, before I go, I should have said this at the beginning, but I forgot. So I'm wearing my, I think it's Trebian. I did check it earlier today and then I forgot, but I think it's Trebian. If not, I'll put the correction below. I'll also put the links. It's a sweater. It's knitted from the bottom up in the round to the underarms. Let me just stand up. I will try and include a photo. It's got kind of slight sort of batwing sleeves with that to the elbows, and then rib. You can make this rib shorter if you want to. So if you just want short elbow length sleeves or 3/4 length sleeves, I wanted long ones. This is a simple boat neck. Shaping is very simple. It's got an all over lace pattern, which is fairly simple. It's knit in the round to the underarms, then back and forth to the shoulders, and then the shoulders are joined with a 3-needle cast off. Stitches are picked up around the armhole, and then the sleeves are knitted in the round. So it's a fairly simple sweater. I haven't worn it a lot. I don't know why really, but it was really cold today and I was meeting a friend in a pub and it wasn't a place I'd been before, so I wasn't sure how cold it was going to be, so I just put this on over a black t-shirt. because I thought it might be a bit chilly because it's been quite cold here today. And I really like it, and I'll definitely be wearing it more. So I'll put the link to the pattern below and you can go and check that out if you're interested. So thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely week and I'll see you next time.